Alright, and we're off. Alright, so Mr. Shasta electing not to go for the wheel mix at the beginning. We'll get into that a little bit later. So what the runners are going to be doing in the first couple stages is just simple powerless movement. There are effectively no speed abilities that you can pick up until a couple of levels in, but one thing that neither player elected to do is do this thing called a mix for wheel. We'll get into mixes later on. Kirby movement in this game is fairly simple. One, I guess, quirk about it is that like while you're in air, you can get good running speed pretty easily. So first mini boss here, Poppy Bros. Fairly simple. Just grab 2 enemies and throw them into Poppy Brothers, and that's about it. So both players pretty much even. Pretty straightforward movement. So what you see here are these goal games, and what you want to do is that you want to hit them as early as possible. Of course, that gives you the lowest score, but it's the fastest setting in a speed run. And each frame that you're off, it gives you a slightly different one. So being as early as possible is very important for that. So now we're here with the first speed ability, which is Burning. And one nice aspect about Nightmare in Dreamland is there's a very nice balance between different movement options. And Burning is pretty straightforward. One quirk I want to mention about, or one property about it, is that if you hit an upward slope, the burning will just stop. And this is different from how it's implemented in other Kirby games. And that comes into play in a couple places. Alright, so first mini boss with Burning. Mr. Frosty just takes 5 hits, and burning against the wall just keeps Kirby at a safe distance from Mr. Frosty. Unfortunately, MK losing the burning ability. In this game, taking damage of any kind will cause you to lose your ability. And one thing about it, since this game is a remake of Kirby's Adventure, is that the star containing your ability will fall away from you very quickly. And so in this game, it's pretty time-consuming to lose it, and in some cases, it might just be simply impossible to get your ability back. So Mr. Shasta getting a lead as a result, and he's entering the first boss, which is Wispy Woods. And basically, it's just a bunch of well-timed burning attacks. There's pretty much no risk of taking damage of any kind. Alright, MK also done with Wispy. Yeah, different players, I want to say, have their own like slightly different burning routes. Obviously, like when you're outside of burning, you're vulnerable to enemies. Shasta, having lost burning, will go for a backup with this NIDL ability. And so after this warp star, we come up to another main boss. Like I said, double stars are very effective, so what he's going to do is he's going to combine the ability that he has with one of the enemies sitting there to one-shot the wheelie enemy. So MK, using the burning ability, is able to keep. Managed to get back a little bit of time from that. So now we're on to our second speed ability, which is Wheel, and Wheel just sort of bowls through all these enemies. And one thing about it is that it loses a lot of speed in the air, and also you cannot jump while you're in Wheel form. That's different from implementations in other games. And also, unlike Kirby's Adventure, Wheel can be used to sort of hydroplane on the water as well. At this point, it's not super crucial to keep Wheel, so not going to get back. And that's because of these Meta Knight fights, or sometimes they're referred to as arenas. And the way that these work is that there are a bunch of these minions of Meta Knight, and they spawn at, depending on which ones have been killed. And it's often faster to just go completely powerless and just inhale and spit repeatedly. Yeah, one thing I want to mention about like sort of non-speed ability movement with Kirby that's present in a lot of Kirby games is sliding off ledges. So in this game in particular, sliding off ledges, like sliding in general, it's a fast burst of speed at the beginning and it slows down considerably to the point that sliding repeatedly is slower than running. But if you can cancel that out with going off a ledge, it saves time that way. And so right now, both of them use Spark for that clock mini-boss. And Spark in general is a very useful ability for taking care of mini-bosses, especially later in the game where, like, sort of as you go throughout the game, the health values of mini-bosses goes up. So Shasta is still maintaining his lead throughout this part. And now we're back to the Wheel ability. One thing that the players need to be a little bit careful about, both of them manage to avoid it, is not inhaling two Wheel enemies at the same time. And here in this room you can really see the deceleration of Wheel in midair. Now both players are using high jump, which they're going to bring into the boss of this world, Paint Roller. The way a high jump obviously gives you a very big jump, but you can also cancel it, and you can also activate it either in air or on the ground. But in order to use it again, you need to land on the ground again. So both of them actually getting the same pattern for Paint Roller. The different places where Paint Roller can go can just cause like a little bit of time loss. And both of them had a pretty clean fight. Keeping high jump for this next part. And the way that high jump works, and also for some other abilities, is just essentially standing next to the mini-boss and allowing sort of the expanded hitbox of the ability to hit the mini-boss while avoiding damage yourself. So far I think Shasta has been having some pretty good goal games. Like I said, each frame gives you a different animation, and there's sometimes if you're just on the wrong frame, Kirby will get into this ledge grab animation, and that's pretty slow and wastes a second. It doesn't really sound like a lot, but there are many levels in this game, so there are many goal games. So it's crucial that they at least have it optimized somewhat. Of course, like losing a second on one stage is not the end of the world, but if you consistently lose that second, then well, it's a time loss. So Shasta is on a fairly tricky mini-boss, which is Bugsy. What Bugsy can do, if you're not careful, is that it can grab you, causing this really long animation to play that is really slow. So MK having a little bit cleaner of an entry into this. unfortunately, I think a little bit slower of a fight. Yeah, for whatever reason, Kirby sliding on a ladder is faster than simply falling. Guess he's got good upper body strength, I guess. Alright, so like I said, keeping your ability, or sort of just like going in powerless into these arena fights which Shasta's about to enter is better, but Shasta also wants to keep his high jump. So this star is going to be bouncing around, and if it's done in the right order, he'll be able to, I guess, get that ability back after killing a significant number of those meta knights, as they're called. So MK on the same thing here. A little bit slower, having to kill an extra enemy, but ooh, that's a awkward positioning for that last enemy. Lucky he got through that without taking extra damage. I want to say a high jump in this game, it's not really like lined up with the platforms, and so getting a good timing on the canceling is really important, especially for these sort of vertically designed rooms. Alright, the room Shasta's in, there are these crash bombs, and unfortunately took damage on one of them. They have a really big blast radius, and it's best to kill them, not only to, I guess, avoid damage, but if they do manage to explode, it sort of freezes the screen for a little bit. Let's see how MK does on this. Alright, so MK avoiding any explosions. Yeah, those dark rooms, there's an ability called Light that lights up the room, but it's not used for a speed run. I guess one thing that makes this an 80% run is that there are these switches, and in one of these dark rooms, there's like a hidden door that you need to unlock. Alright, Shasta guessed correctly. I think MK is the type not to guess, which I wholly endorse. Alright, so Shasta is electing to go with UFO. Let's see what MK chooses to do for this room. It's a little bit faster to keep high jump, but significantly more difficult in terms of movement. So we'll see what the players do. Alright, MK is also electing to go with UFO. And so now we're going to come up to, well, Shasta has the last of the speed abilities, which is Tornado. And the way that works is that you can control left and right, but also whether or not the tornado rises and falls. So if you're holding B, the tornado will rise, but if you let go of it, you'll start to sink. Alright, so Shasta is going to come up to another usage of Spark for what I think is a pretty interesting mini-boss. It's 2 Poppy Bros. And if you stand in the right place, the Poppy Bros can dance around randomly. But if you're standing in the right place, there are safe spots where you can stand. And Shasta got a standard clean fight. And he'll want to keep it, keep the spark ability just to deal with a bunch of enemies later on in this level. Alright, MK also having a nice fight. And in this room, it's just a little bit nice to keep spark. Not the end of the world if you lose it, but it's useful for clearing out these enemies without having to slow down much. There's this recent new idea in this stage that I don't think either player is going to go for. It saves like 2 seconds, which is to mix for wheel. But as you're going to see in the next room for Shasta, he's going to get wheel right here. And so what it mixes is that you inhale 2 enemies with an ability, and it'll start this mix wheel. And with the right timing, you can select essentially whatever ability is. But if you miss it, well, that's time loss. Alright, so this is Fan, very annoying boss. Luckily, Shasta got a pretty convenient pattern there. And what Fan gives is an ability called Throw. And it's going to be nice for clearing out these blocks, but also for the next level coming up. Alright, let's see how MK's gonna do on this. Fan can rush at you, but if everything goes according to plan, shouldn't be taking any damage. And the way that throw works is that it's sort of like inhaling an enemy, except when you spit it out or when you throw the enemy, it turns into a double star. And the difference between double and single star is that single stars don't pass through enemies, but double stars do. That's going to come into play just right here. We'll be able to clear both those enemies right there. So once again, really nice arena fight. And in this room, Shasta's going to be abusing sort of the invulnerability of burning. Oh, unfortunately lost it there. To get past those Gordos. Alright, MK also having a nice throw fight. Not the biggest time loss. A lot of the enemies in this game are quite random, especially those frogs. Luckily, Shasta will get through no problem. Alright, MK is able to save a little bit of time just by having kept burning. He's also going to use sword for the clock fight. Like I said, the difference between 80% and 100% is the presence of these switches. And in this room, there's like a hidden door that you can activate with light. Of course, this is a speedrun. We don't need to worry about grabbing light since everything's in place. Alright, so what's important for Shasta right now is to get these cancels really tight with these platforms. If you just let high jump go all the way, it overshoots these platforms, so being really tight on the cancels is really important. Alright, so that was a little bit of a quick kill. Shasta's missed a few hits, but essentially for the high jump, not only does the high jump itself do damage, but also the cancel. I think Shasta got a pretty favorable position with that star rod. Grabbing the star rod piece is important. Once you hit it, you lose control, and if you're not in the center of the room, for Kirby to do his little dance. Alright. Fortunately, MK took damage there. But pretty much one hit. And so as you can see on MK's screen, Kirby's walking slowly towards the center of the screen. and that would be another form of time loss. Yeah, the fact that you can do high jump in the air is neat for a couple places. Alright, so Shasta is coming up with a very overpowered ability called Ball. And when you're in ball form, you fall very quickly, and you can also do these big bounces. And the great thing about Ball is that it can take care of mini bosses like the Sponkers very, very quickly. Unfortunately, Shasta missed the first hit, but is able to recover without taking any damage. The way that Ball works is that when you're moving quickly with it vertically, it'll start flashing, and that's when you can do damage without worrying about taking any damage yourself. It looks a little bit strange where, like, when for some rooms, like, you enter and it looks like the player is just standing there. That's just one thing about this game where you don't really have full control until a little bit for whatever reason. And since you cannot jump in wheel form, pretty much the only thing you can do is just let wheel go and run into all these enemies. Alright. Shasta with some careful wheel jumps. Alright, and let's see how the clean turnarounds for this. Nice. So Shasta has a very comfortable lead right now, but anything can happen towards the end. The later part of this run can be pretty troll. Shasta being careful not to touch the spikes here. Alright, he's going for his favorite, squeezing in extra burning. Alright. Yeah, one thing I didn't mention is that there are some interesting things you can do with turning around with wheel. Not only is it like sort of a quicker to do it, but there are also these things in the water, which you might see later on. Alright, Shasta electing to just float over everything. Like I said, getting running speed in the air is pretty simple, so just floating and puffing repeatedly is pretty much just as good as doing some riskier bounces with Ball. Movement at the beginning of 5-5 is a pretty good combination of like powerless movement and a little bit of ball usage. Yeah, so the path that you see MK take out of 5-4 is actually a shortcut that leads to a switch. Just so happens that the secret door turns out to be faster. Alright, so Shasta is able to keep Ball all the way until Fire Lion. MK will be trying to do the same. Fortunately, he took damage at the beginning of this room. Alright. So once again, being careful to just inhale one wheel enemy. Let's see, Shasta with the wheel movement. He's electing not to do this thing called flywheel, which involves turning around an exiting wheel. For whatever reason, like when you exit wheel on the water, you get a little bit of like backwards momentum. So you can abuse it by turning around at just the right time. All right. So that's the first instance of a mix that you'll see from either player. The way that works is that that mix in particular, if you just inhale 2 wheel enemies and then sort of stop, like buffer the stop button for the mix wheel, you'll always get hammer. So that's really useful for this boss called Heavy Mole. So Shasta had a very nice fight there. Alright, see MK? Alright, there's the... Not quite, but getting some momentum from that backwards turnaround. Yeah, it's really crucial for this level. Like entering this, you have to really jump at just the right time to be able to inhale those 2 enemies. Otherwise, it can be like that's like the best setup for it. But both players were able to get it first try. I can't remember whose race I was commentating for, where one runner just got walled by that mix. Right, Shasta unfortunately losing burning. The end of that level can be quite tricky, just because there's a lot of enemies. This game being a remake of an NES game is definitely not short on enemies, and they're also quite random. Alright. So now Shasta has Tornado, and sort of the outline for the rest of World 6 is to keep Tornado as long as possible. Pretty much almost until the end of the world. So MK was able to keep burning all the way up until this point. Now I'm gaining a little bit of time, but once again the lead's quite large at this point. Alright, nice Bonkers fight. Bonkers requires 8 hits with the Tornado, and so you have to do it in 2 cycles. Yeah, unlike a lot of other Kirby games, when you lose your ability in this game, the star will actually sink in the water. So, now, other games it's like kind of safe; it'll stay floating on the water. You can get it back, but in this game, it sinks. All right, so far, both players still have their Tornado, but this next room that Shasta is going to be in is somewhat tricky. There are these tight corridors, and spikes as well. So they have to be especially careful around these enemies. And then over here, these Gordos. A little bit of a crash animation, but no damage. Six 5 is a pretty straightforward level. Especially at the end of it, it's pretty much just a tornado spam. Alright, so MK has also gone through 6-4 without losing Tornado. And right now there's a one stage lead still. Alright, now we're going to come up on a mini-boss. It's going to be a double Frosty fight. And one thing that Frosty can do is I can throw ice cubes, and that's what Shasta's going to want here. Alright, getting a double star and then throwing that double star into both those Frosties. Alright, now we're getting to a tricky arena fight. Everyone's favorite, ice physics. Unfortunately, I don't think things are going the way that Shasta wants it to, but still making steady progress. Alright, on MK screen also getting a double star, first cycle. Alright, so Shasta right there is electing to reset just to get his health back for this Meta Knight fight. Meta Knight can block pretty much anything, so it's very important to go in there with as much health as possible. So Shasta's having a pretty good fight, not too many blocks, maybe like 4 blocks or so. And Meta Knight is just like one big source of trolling towards the end of the run. Like Shasta's PB, I believe, is a 39-39, and we're like half an hour in, and here's where the trolling starts. So from the Meta Knight fight, we have Sword, and it's going to be really helpful for Shasta to clear these blocks here. It's a pretty technical section to sort of not slow down. Oh, Shasta going for health. Respectable decision. Unlike Kirby's Adventure, the game that this is based off of, you do not recover your health in between or after boss fights. Alright, so getting balled there. And the reason why he's going for the health is because of the next level after this, which is the infamous 7-2, which is a mini-boss tower where you go through at least 4 mini-boss fights. Like, you can skip some of it by entering this door on top, but this is where it starts. So each of these mini-bosses is going to take 3 hits with the ball, and you have to essentially do it in one go. Alright. Perhaps not the pattern that Shasta was hoping for with Fan. And these are sort of like more aggressive versions of mini-bosses that we've seen already. So both players will need to be careful not to die here. I think this is the pattern that Shasta really likes, the floating Bugsy one. And like I said, oh, that was a really good fire line as well. Alright. Good pace for Shasta. Just 1 damage the entire time. Alright, MK is also here with less health entering this fight than Shasta. Alright, good Bugsy as well. The problem is that you're vulnerable, pretty much when you're bouncing. And so you cannot be inside of the mini-boss's hitbox when you bounce. Yeah, it seems that MK is caught up a little bit. I think it might be difficult to come back at this point. Alright, so Shasta's down to 7-4. And there's a little bit of randomness that goes into this. These ball enemies bounce around randomly. And also these pigs. Shasta's gonna grab Spark for this part next. It won't come into play in this level, but for the next one, it'll be important. I think what a lot of runners used to do is that they used to not go for Spark, instead try to keep burning as long as possible. So once again, being careful of these crash bombs. The sort of older idea, oh, we might see it. Oh, okay, Shasta got it back. The older idea is to use Crash on this, but unfortunately it doesn't kill the main boss entirely. So Spark is a much more consistent option. Now Shasta's got the upward draft for him. With well-positioned wheel jumps, you can get through that room very cleanly. Alright, now Shasta's on to the last normal level of this run. And pretty much this is just like a real test of wheel movement. Alright. I know that Shasta doesn't really like this room very much, because of that Kaboo bouncing around down there, but no problems there. Alright, here comes a little bit tight of a wheel jump. Alright, good. Now we're on to the final mix of the run. And this is a real mix. The ones that you saw before you could buffer, but this one is real 4-frame window in a 60 FPS game. So roughly 0.07 seconds. And Shasta got that first try. And he'll be able to go straight into the DD fight. So once again, you need to be really careful with this. DD is quite random. But very good fight for Shasta. Sometimes DD can be a little bit of a troll. Oh, unfortunately MK has lost wheel at this point. Has to go through this, the rest of the level powerless. I think Shasta's got this in the bag, unless something catastrophic happens. There's essentially no randomness at this point onwards. Alright, MK getting the mix first try as well. A little bit of randomness with spawn positions, but in terms of like patterns, quote unquote, for this phase of Nightmare and the next one, essentially no randomness. Yeah, I think Shasta, this is a really good pace for Shasta right now. Alright, MK with done with DD as well. Okay. Shasta finishing with a... Let's see. Pretty much all set patterns here. I think this might be a PB. Wow, 39:37, a 2-second PB for Shasta. Unbelievable race time, especially. MK also finishing up this fight pretty soon. Like I said, no real randomness here. Alright, MK with 40.26. Official SRL times. I have here 39.42 versus 40.31. So GG's to Shasta. See if we can get. Get them in here if they want. Yeah, GG's to Shasta. He'll be moving on to face Halo Dude in Grand Finals. Yeah, both runners getting very close to their, well, in Mr. Shasta's case, a new PB.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
Congrats on your
I'm
win.
actually shaking. That run was amazing. Okay, so it all came down to D at the end. D, I was plus 7.8 going into 7.6, partially because I went for safety strats in 7.1, and it came down to D. If D gave me good luck, I would be ahead by just a little bit, and I was by minus 0.3. Then I had bad nightmare orb, and I was plus 0.4. It came down at the end for that PB.
That last
it came
hit.
down literally that last hit of nightmare. If you spawned far away from me and went like to the top of the screen, that was it. That would have been PB. That would have been PB over there by just a little bit. But he didn't. He spawned right in front of me. I got that run. Let's freaking go! Holy crap!
I just come in here and hear Shasta super hyped.
I'm beyond ecstatic. That was my first PB in over a year in this game.
Hey,
I'm beyond ecstatic.
I cannot complain about losing to a freaking 39-37. You're crazy, man. You're crazy.
Thank you. You're amazing
so
too.
good.
Thank you. I can't believe that just happened. I've streamed like 5 times already. One on camera just now.
Last 2 tourney races, I got 40-26. Did I get the same time both races? No, I got 40-25 last race. I got 40-26 this race. Dude, 39 is so free.
You got this, dude.
Oh my gosh, that would have been a 5-second PB, but I lost wheel in 7.6.
Damn, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that then. Can't believe it. I can't believe this run. There's some big mistakes towards the end at least, which is good for me. I had bad 7.3, bad 7.4. I lost my spark in 7.5, but I got it back because I turned the right direction when I got hit. I'm glad I did that, by the way. Otherwise, that would have been GG's in that run.
2 seconds.
But yeah,
so close.
And I also went for safety as well too in 7.1. I went for the medicine there because I was at 3 health, and I didn't want to risk anything.
Yeah, you also took damage once on
safety.
FanFan, right?
What?
You took damage once on FanFan?
Yeah, that's all that happens. I got a good pattern from Fireline, I got a good pattern from Bugsy, I got a good pattern from Bonkers. The only thing that was bad though was FanFan. That's where I lost time in that level. God dang.
Reset before 6.6. Or no, I didn't reset after 6.6. I went through Meta Knight. Meta Knight didn't take the medicine in 7.1, and I went through 7.2 all without healing. And then I skipped the tomato in 7.2 as well.
What the heck?
I'm glad that was fine, the ends.
I don't know. I didn't take any damage on 7.2, so it was alright.
That's good. But even afterwards, I lost burning at the end of 6.1, by the way, and because of that, I only gained 0.3 in 6.2 because I had 5 seconds to save there. But that was so yeah, I could have been a little there. I'm just going through my run right now.
PB.
I had a super good World 5, even better than my PB. Actually, I don't think I gained time like over my PB in World 5. It was my World 5 already had incredibly good. I mean, my PB already had good World 5. But holy crap.
Your brother's in the chat. Lol, you PB'd.
Dude, I PB'd. I freaking PB'd this race. I'm so happy right now. I gained time in 3-4. That's gonna suck to row against. Oh crap. And I didn't go for wheel at the beginning either. If I did, that would have been a Cobra bop. If I got it, at least. Jesus.
Okay, Halo said he was gonna watch, but he's playing Mountain Blade.
Wow, what a jerk. I'm gonna destroy him in Grand Finals.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, if you keep playing this way, you are going to win. Like,
Dude, I'm going to win. What? I haven't said otherwise
this
yet. I'm going to win.
Power of Losers Shasta. What have I created?
You created a monster, man. And it was gonna keep... My times keep going down, okay? I'm gonna get a 39 in the race coming up against Halo.
Oh boy.
Like 2 of them.
I have to beat him twice. 239s. Oh boy. This is
Yeah.
gonna be spicy.
I'm so hyped right now. You have no idea.
Salty, I
Like-
lost wheel, but I was behind the entire run until Orange Ocean, so I can definitely do better.
I wish I looked record that run.
I had 3 PB pace runs today, so it's gonna come soon.
Apparently I haven't PB'd since February 9th of last year. In 8%.
To be fair, you haven't played the game for like many months,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly, but still.
And you came back and you PB'd under a month, so that's pretty nuts, considering how low your original PB was too.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm really happy.
You also got race world record, so
Dude, I got Race Looker too, you're right! By a good amount! That's crazy.
you got
Like, former Race World record was 39.55 apparently by Halo, dude. I got, according to SRL, 39.42. Because I split on my splits, and then I split on SRL. Jesus Christ.
can't even be mad.
It's alright, man. Just keep it up, dude. Get that 39.
So I'm like going out of town, like to China on Friday. I have to get it before Friday. There's a ticking clock.
I believe in you.
I'm gonna go hard.
Jesus. You got this, man. You definitely got this. I'm going out of town Thursday, so I need to have this race be on Wednesday for Halo. I'm not sure if I can do tomorrow. I'm a little busy tomorrow. So yeah. I guess for us in here, I'm hoping to have the race against Halo Dude Grand Finals on Wednesday, probably Wednesday nights. So I look forward to that.
I'll be there.
Sweet. I'm doing the exact same thing I did with this race. Just close chat, focus only on the run, and hope that pays off.
Oh. It's in
I
chat.
think it's Halo.
Halo's in chat.
Halo, DM me. We're gonna schedule the race immediately. It has to be Wednesday. I'm sorry.
The tourney GG. Maybe.
Alright. But, yeah, not much else to say. I already yelled out everything I need to say about that run. Of excitement.
GG's again, man.
Yeah, GG's.
GG's.
Nuts.
Oh my god. I'm gonna see if I can beat that run tonight, by the way.
I mean, you still need to beat Cobra.
I do need to beat Cobra. I really need to beat Cobra. I really need to beat that time. Oh man. So yeah, I guess we're gonna sign off in that case.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm playing SK here as the host of this.
I guess. Any final remarks?
this is probably the last time I'm gonna be on the mic, so thanks all the viewers and all the participants of this tourney. When I initially had the idea for this tourney, I was like, I didn't think it would get this crazy. Like, so many people have started running this game, so many people have came back to running this game because of this tourney. Like, it's just been so awesome. Just thank you guys for making this what it's been, and we still got grand finals coming up.
Oh yeah, that should be Wednesday because Hale's can do Wednesday in chats. So yeah, grand finals. Give me a bracket reset. I'm gonna win the whole thing, just so everyone's aware. We're gonna do that on Wednesday.
Oh boy.
It's gonna be good. Stick around for that. So as usual, I'll tweet it out. I'll put it in my Discord and everything when it happens. I don't know much like how else to spread the word other than that. So yeah. And I'm gonna try and Bob Crowball tonight or tomorrow or whatever will happen.
Yeah, I'm totally
Just
doing more runs.
Being
tonight.
39 to 33. I need to beat that time now. So yeah, thanks all for watching. And I guess enjoy the end of the tournament on Wednesday. Yeah, see y'all around.
All right. See you, everyone.
Goodbye.